Okay, so for this last session, I think it can be really relevant to think about particularly any genuine sufferings that you're having in your own life that you really could use a bit of backup about, even if they seem small and kind of irrelevant. You know, if you're struggling financially, if you've got an issue with your mom, you know, whatever, like it's worth allowing some support in. Yeah. So we can be thinking about ordinary things like our own stuff, physical, mental, situational sufferings, because Medicine Buddha really does support moving through these issues with a bit more grace and a bit more, I guess, you know, health. And to think of anyone struggling in our life right now, you know, anyone that we know is really doing it tough. And of course, the fact that the world is a little bit messy still, particularly around all the issues to do with the pandemic, you know, the virus itself, but also all the ripple effect stuff of people having different views about what's the best approach, what's too much, what's not enough, all the people struggling from financial hardship and isolation, and, you know, just to really think, may we kind of create a ripple effect of some peace and some compassion around these issues, that whether we agree or disagree with our various government's approaches or workplace approaches or family approaches, whether we agree or not doesn't have to dictate how much compassion we have, you know? And the way in which that compassion presents itself can be really reinforced by Medicine Buddha. So I thought to just very briefly share with you guys about the 5 degenerations, because this is what makes Medicine Buddha practice particularly relevant right now. Like, it would always be a wonderful practice, it would always be useful, but there's particular strength in directing our attention to Medicine Buddha in this day and age, because we're in what is called the degenerate age. So the degenerate age is basically the time after a fully enlightened Buddha who presents the full Supreme Nirmanakaya Sambhogakaya aspect and has said, I am a Buddha and now I'm teaching. It's the time after they have shown the aspect of passing away. Yeah, so of course there's tons of Buddhas that we see or don't see, that we interact with, but we don't know that they're Buddhas, and they don't kind of out themselves as Buddhas. Right? There's only a few kind of pockets in time where the merit of sentient beings comes together for us to actually be able to see and access a Buddha in front of us. And Buddha Shakyamuni was the last one that was able for us to see and engage with in that way. There'll be another one, right? Maitreya is coming up next, not to worry. But I think if you look at history, this is a very common pattern, isn't it? That we have a bit of a dark age, and then we have a bit of a renaissance, and then we have a bit of a dark age, and then we have a bit of a renaissance. And the pendulum swings back and forth, and nothing is forever, right? And in each pocket of time, beings are able to use suffering or happiness to transform and develop on the path. But right now we are kind of in a downswing of things might be getting worse, and they'll get worse for a while, and then they'll get better again. But we can see all around us, it's getting much more unpredictable climate-wise. There's a lot of strife in the world. Things are really tricky, and the more stable our mind is, the less it's going to destroy our peace. Yeah, if everything kind of falls apart around us, can we stay steady in the midst of chaos and bring some relief to the people around us and not contribute to the chaos and make it worse? So it's particularly relevant to do Medicine Buddha in times like these. And that's said very directly in a number of sutra sources. So see if these ring true for you right now. The 5 degenerations of the degenerate age are when the human lifespan is less than 100 years, and people are not receptive to the Buddha's teachings, or as receptive, because of degeneration of lifespan. So our lives will start to shorten. You know, people are living longer in some contexts, but eventually it's going to shorten, shorten, shorten. The degeneration of disturbing emotions. So these are rampant even amongst monks and nuns, that just there's a lot of afflictions to be battling with. There's degeneration of outlook. This is especially amongst householders where there is little respect for anything constructive. And so people get a little bit self-centered and a little bit me first, and less societally motivated, less civically motivated. The degeneration of beings, when people become less fit or capable of physically taking care of themselves. So we see this with various illnesses that pop up, and then degeneration of the times when natural resources run out and the environment degenerates. So this is often related to like the potency of things like fruits and vegetables, that they don't quite have the same power or oomph that they used to have. That when we do eat things, we have trouble with our digestion, or things aren't processing easily. There's more kind of food allergies and difficulty around water. And this is what happens just as merit of sentient beings kind of runs out. But the good news is that when you practice anything positive or virtuous during times like these, it's incredibly strong. So when you do actually kind of clear your head of the mess and get rid of the fog, you're actually doing incredible amounts of merit making because of the hardship that's around you. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche says that one of the benefits of Medicine Buddha practice is that it helps bring success, prosperity, both spiritual practice and materially. And these are things that, especially as beginners, we do need a bit of support of this type in order to function. Eventually we can all be yogis in a cave with our bag of barley flour. But for us, we practice better if we're not scared about where we're going to sleep, or if we'll have enough food to eat. Yeah, if we have those basic needs very stably, it's much easier to focus on practice. Medicine Buddha is very powerful purification, and it's one of the best things to do for someone who has passed away. And it's not only for sickness, it's for anything. So the yoga method of Medicine Buddha was taught by Guru Padmasambhava in the collection of teachings called Jewel Treasure. It was taught to enable those who practice it to diagnose and treat their patients perfectly, particularly in times when the 5 degenerations were flourishing. Because the pure wisdom of the omniscient mind, the Dharmakaya, is bound by infinite compassion for living beings, it manifested in various aspects to eliminate different obstacles of living beings. Such deities as the 7 Medicine Buddhas manifested in order to pacify obstacles to the achievement of even temporary happiness, and especially ultimate happiness of full enlightenment. So I really recommend the book Ultimate Healing by Lama Zopa Rinpoche. There's a lot about Medicine Buddha practice and different ways to use it for yourself or your loved ones, if they're sick, if there's dying, if there's bereavement. Medicine Buddha is a really good go-to for all that kind of stuff, but it's also very useful just for daily life, clearing obstacles and getting yourself back on track. If you're someone who still eats meat for whatever reason, if you do Medicine Buddha mantra like 7 times and then blow on the meat, it can have a positive effect on the mind of the being who once inhabited that meat. It can be useful for them. It can also help your karmic connection with that being, so that when you meet in future, just as they've benefited you through their body, you can benefit them through Dharma. So it's a way to kind of take the fact that you're using meat for nourishment and making it into an intentional medicine karmic connection practice, rather than just something out of attachment or something out of habit. So you can kind of elevate if you do still eat meat, so you can make it a little bit more virtuous. Are there any questions about those 5 degenerations or the whole kind of premise of Medicine Buddha practice? Interesting thoughts you might be having? Boring ones too.
Sorry, I have a question. The relationship between the degenerate time and cause and effect, like it's a natural. When you say that it's more efficacious, more powerful when you do it in the degenerate time, because there's too many sufferings and the Buddhas are
Less
more
accessible.
like, yeah, less,
Yeah.
and then when there's suffering they come, so it's kind of a relationship between cause and effect, like there's suffering and they come.
Well, remember that the Buddhas don't need to come because they're already here, right? Buddhas pervade every atom of existence. The Buddha's mind pervades everywhere. When we invite or request or invoke or ask, that's to get our own mind to be open to the fact that they're already here. Okay, so we don't need to be suffering for them to come. We don't need to be asking for them to come. They're here. But just think about it very ordinary. Like if your best friend loves you and has compassion for you and wants you to be free of your suffering, and you're suffering very badly, do you always feel their love for you? Or does it come and go? So they have continuous love for you, but does it actually touch your heart every second of them sitting next to you? Yeah, so just because they love you doesn't mean you feel it. Yeah, and just because they love you and you don't feel it doesn't mean it's not there, right? Just in an ordinary sense. So there's tons of people in our life who love us to bits, but sometimes we feel all alone and completely separate from humanity, like no one cares or notices. Yeah, but we're so loved by just regular folks. Of course, we're loved by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So what this practice is talking about is the fact that if you're able to practice when things are hard, that takes more mental energy, doesn't it? Right? Like if you're very angry and upset, the amount of self-control it takes for you not to say an unkind thing is way more effort than on a regular day when you're not too stressed. Which means that it's much more powerful to then do virtue from that place, just because of the energy it takes. Right? So then that means the positive karma you create is bigger because karma is really mental energy. Right? So right now we've kind of run out of kind of a round of merit, right? We have collective karma and we have individual karma. And our collective karma to have met great spiritual teachers, there was a whole bunch of them all kind of around the same time. I mean, not same time, but within a few hundred years of each other, wasn't there? Right? There was Buddha and Muhammad and Jesus and all sorts of great spiritual teachers. And none of them are in human form teaching right now. Right? So we had a little burst of collective karma for the merit to hear solid ethical teachings on kindness and compassion. And then time goes by and we've worn out a little bit of merit and we have to create more so that we can meet the next whole mass of people showing that aspect and teaching about ethics in a way that really resonates with folks. Does that make sense? And during that time of degeneration, there's less access to teachers, but there's also less environmental supports. There's also less physical supports. There's just a lot of chaos. And it's natural and it's cyclical and it'll end, but it'll be better for us if we have a solid practice when the wave hits.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Yeah, Heather?
Yeah, I think when I hear practices or prayers create wealth and success and things like that, it feels transactional to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to make it not sound like sort of like, I just listened to a thing on prosperity gospel and it sort of just seems in conflict with bodhicitta. So I'm not sure how to understand that in a way that feels more congruent.
Totally. Yeah. And I'm right there with you. And sometimes, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who I love so much and is such an amazing teacher, he speaks so literally and so without giving disclaimers, context, or background. He'll just say, this will bring success. And you're like, okay, well, I didn't think success was something I should be aiming for because of the 8 worldly concerns. And I thought that I was supposed to take suffering on the path. But since you're saying it, I mean, sure, I could use more stable financial support. Thanks. Okay. You know, like you can kind of get confused really easily the way he teaches, because he's reading directly from sutras, less often from commentaries. Yeah, and the commentaries are then people who have been practicing with the sutras, helping us understand the nuances of karma, of how do you acknowledge what you need as an ordinary person, while at the same time developing and deepening your practice. So they're saying, all right, when you do a practice with altruism, you create the cause for resources. Whether you need resources or not, whether that's your aim or not, that's what happens when you practice from altruism. Something like generosity creates the cause for resources. So you don't want to be thinking, I'm doing this for the resources, because then the resources won't come. If you think I'm doing this for the welfare of all sentient beings, then the resources come, and you try to approach it from a way that says, may I use this and pay it forward to continue the momentum of my practice and have a ripple effect on the practice of others. And you don't think, I deserve it. Just like you don't think you deserve the bad things that happen to you. That's the way it's different than some prosperity gospel, evangelical Christian stuff that is perhaps well-intentioned and perhaps not, depending on the source, right? But bless their hearts. But what is true about karma is that it is not a person or a deity. It is just your own internal cause and effect. So no one is rewarding you. No one is punishing you. It's just, if you plant a seed and water it, this is what grows. Just really straightforward cause and effect in that way. So you're not saying, Buddha, give me resources. You're saying, may I be of benefit to all sentient beings? And then resources come, and you think, may I use them to support my practice? And of course, part of you knows that this practice might help with success, with resources, but you're trying to make sure you manage your expectations at the very beginning that says, for me at my level, if I was thrown in a cave in India with a bag of barley flour, the novelty would wear off real quick. And I'd get cold, and I'd get grumpy, and I would want a vegetable, and probably my health would suffer. And I'm not quite there yet, even though I like the idea of it, right? And I want to think that I could practice at that level. But if I'm honest with myself, I'm not there yet, which is not a deficiency, right? It's like there's a maturation that happens. So the built-in assumption is we're all going to become Buddhas, but right now we need a bit more comfort and safety to take a step forward. And eventually we take the training wheels off, mixing metaphors, right? So I'm with you. And part of the reason I read directly from Lama Zopa Rinpoche is that I know that we'll all come across his teachings at some point or the other if we're in FPMT. And it does start to sound like he's saying this or that is inherently existent. If you do this, it will equal that in this totally direct, immediate way. And it's true what he says, it's just there's fine print. There's all this fine print, which is if your motivation is bodhicitta, if you've created these and these causes, and if you continue to use your resources in a way that's altruistic, you'll create causes for more of the same. So he wants to kind of inspire us with a little bit of like wise selfishness. And then once you're on the cushion, you try to tidy it up and make it as altruistic as you can. But he knows us, right? He knows that it's hard for us to do anything unless it's out of self-interest and immediate gratification. So it's kind of like, what's going to get you on your cushion? Now that you're on your cushion, let's read the fine print. Yeah. And if you think of your own life, that can be quite true, right? It's so hard to just get yourself to practice. But once you are practicing, it's a lot easier to just kind of tweak out, oh, okay, that's a bit of a selfish motivation, pop, you know, and to kind of expand out. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, and I've certainly had the same thought. And and if you talk to Rinpoche directly about some of the things he says, so directly in this, like, this will lead to this, just no, no middle way. He'll of course elaborate if you push him directly and say, "What do you mean? That sounds like you're saying it's inherently existent, and nothing's inherently existent." But you just said from their own side, if I make offerings to a statue, from the side of the statue, somehow there's all this merit making. That sounds contradictory to the teachings on wisdom that you just gave yesterday, and he'll say, no, of course not. Causes and conditions still apply. Parts and wholes still apply. All these things still apply. So it's not like he doesn't know, he's just being skillful. Yeah. But it's only skillful for a certain type of student. For other types of student, like myself, it makes us confused, right? Yeah. So anyway, all of our, this is particularly true for Americans, right? We've got a little bit of evangelical Christian thought that kind of weaves its way into all sorts of things, even like seemingly progressive new age, rose quartz, patchouli incense, natural fabrics, sort of let's sit in a teepee and do cultural appropriation, but be nice people. That sphere that seems like totally friendly hippies that are somewhat ill-informed, those folks, somehow even evangelical thought will creep into there, and stuff like prosperity gospel somehow gets into there, and they'll talk about manifesting things, and it can get very tangled. So just if we have our radar up to make sure that people aren't going to the dark side.
It's so tied in with our like individualism and capitalism,
Yeah.
and, right, but that's a whole other bag of lemons, right?
Yeah, exactly. I shall manifest wealth. Okay, yeah, settle down.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So this will bring success. Let's do it. Read the fine print. Read the fine print. The fine print that really touches my heart, I don't know if this works for you, but is to think about the way that if you give energy to something repetitively, it takes on a power that is almost tangible. Like, take, for example, something like a flag or an image that you've known your whole life, as opposed to a flag or an image you've never met before. And this was an argument we used in Montana back when we were trying to pass hate crimes legislation, is why is it, so take graffiti. If someone writes, "Jack loves Jill" and a heart, or "Death to Jews" and a swastika, it's the same amount of graffiti and it's the same amount of words. But why is one worse than the other? It's totally obvious to us, isn't it? Right? It's totally obvious to us. So that's why hate crimes legislation gets passed, because it's like you can make a really valid argument that just because it looks the same, it doesn't feel the same. The impact is totally different because of the energy certain words and images have been given. But if you don't know how to read and you've never come across a heart or a swastika, it has no meaning to you. So it doesn't have meaning from its own side, right? But because minds have given it meaning repetitively from many angles for many years, now it's as if it jumps off the wall at us and gives us impact, and we recognize that impact and then respond accordingly. The same is true of Buddha images. This image has more power than just a blue ball, or like the dog from Blue's Clues or something, right? Even if it was the same size, shape, and color. But that's because of the mind that created it, and then the minds that have interacted with it, and then the association we bring to it. Now it has more power. But it didn't just magically have its own power from its own side. I don't know if that made it easier or harder. Do you guys have any questions?
That's beautiful.
Makes sense. So yeah, so long as we remember emptiness, we won't become fundamentalists. But as long as we remember compassion, then we won't shut off our heart. So 2 wings. Okay, so we'll do our puja now, and we'll do it particularly for enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and including the specific issues in this day and age that are really obviously causing people suffering. So all the issues around the pandemic, all of the issues around, sexism and homophobia and racism and environmental neglect and all of the things we know about that are really causing trouble, we think make this practice help dispel those as well. And people reconnect to their hearts, and their hearts informed with strong wisdom. And you can just mentally add any specific things in your own life as well. And then with that strong bodhicitta motivation, we'll do the puja. The river of merely hearing your names makes even Avicii's hellfires cool as a lotus pond. Protectors in degenerate times, 7 Sugatas, and head of the Shakyas, to your feet I bow. Distracted by activities of varying importance, to benefit myself and those with faith in the life stories of these 7 Medicine Buddhas for degenerate times, I'll condense the Ambrosial Sutra to its molten essence. Nature incorporating the entire body, speech, mind, qualities, and activity of all the Tathagatas of the 3 times and 10 directions, source of 84,000 collections of dharmas, Lord of all Arya Sangha, I seek refuge in the kind and glorious holy root and lineage gurus. I seek refuge in the completely enlightened Lord Buddhas. I seek refuge in the holy Dharma. I seek refuge in the Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the 8 brothers gone to bliss, the Lord Medicine Buddhas with their hosts of retinue deities. I seek refuge in the glorious holy protectors, Dharma protector guardians endowed with the wisdom eye. Nature incorporating the entire body, speech, mind, qualities, and activity of all the Tathagatas of the 3 times and 10 directions, source of 84,000 collections of dharmas, Lord of all Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the kind and glorious holy root and lineage gurus. I seek refuge in the completely enlightened Lord Buddhas. I seek refuge in the holy Dharma. I seek refuge in the Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the 8 brothers gone to bliss, the Lord Medicine Buddhas with their hosts of retinue deities. I seek refuge in the glorious holy protectors, Dharma protector guardians endowed with the wisdom eye. Nature incorporating the entire body, speech, mind, qualities, and activity of all the Tathagatas of the 3 times and 10 directions, source of 84,000 collections of dharmas, Lord of all Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the kind and glorious holy root and lineage gurus. I seek refuge in the completely enlightened Lord Buddhas. I seek refuge in the holy Dharma. I seek refuge in the Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the 8 brothers gone to bliss, the Lord Medicine Buddhas with their hosts of retinue deities. I seek refuge in the glorious holy protectors, Dharma protector guardians endowed with the wisdom eye. Sangye chudam sogi chonam lai janchu padu dani kapsuchi dagi jin sogi pesonam ki drola penche sangye drupa sho sangye chudam sogi chonam la janchu padu nani kapsuchi dagi jin sogi pesonam ki Rola penche sangye drupa sho sangye chudam sogi chunam la janchu padu dani kapsuchi dagi jen sogi pesonam ki rola penche sangye drupa sho. All sentient beings, who although self and all appearances are Dharma Dhatu by nature, have not realized it thus, I shall endow with happiness and the causes of happiness. I shall separate from suffering and the causes of suffering. I shall make inseparable from happiness without suffering, and I shall set in equanimity the cause of well-being, free from attachment, aversion, and partiality. And repeating that twice more to yourself. For the welfare of all mother sentient beings, I need to attain complete Buddhahood. Therefore, I'm going to engage in the stages of the path, such as prostrating, making offerings and heartfelt requests, entreating the holy minds to grant blessings. To the 8 brothers gone to bliss, the Lord Medicine Buddhas with their host of retinue deities. Through the power of the supreme truth of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas' blessings, the might of the 2 collections, and the purity of the Dharma Dhatu, may this realm's beings and environment be enriched like Sukhavati, with all the desirable perfections of both samsara and nirvana. Jeweled ground adorned with trees and with ponds, whose bottoms are covered with gold, silver, and pearl dust, flowers strewn and sandalwood fragrance rising. Human and divine enjoyments, Samattabhadra's offerings everywhere. There in the center of a charming dual palace, on lotuses and lion thrones, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas abide. May everywhere be filled with oceans of clouds of offerings which they enjoy, born through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. So imagine everywhere filled with medicine Buddhas, everywhere filled with offerings, all of the lineage, all within their own mandalas. And then visualize all the offerings set out and all of the offerings you can visualize. Once again, multiplying and filling all of space. Water for drinking, connecting with merit. Water for washing, connecting with purification. Flowers, the open heart of compassion. Incense, ethics. Light, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. Perfume, engaging our faith. Food, of samadhi, concentration. Music, harmonious communities. May we offer these ideas and these practices, as well as the physical offerings. We multiply. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasawa Pramadana Tathagataya Ahate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajre Vajre Mahavad Mahatija Vajre Mahavija Vajre Mahabodhi Chira Vajre Mahabodhi Mendo Pasam Kramana Vajre Sawakama Havara Vishadana Vajre Soha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasattva Pramadana Tathagata Mahate Samiksam Buddhaya Tayat Om Vajre Vajre Maha Chira Vajre Maha Vira Vajre Maha Bodhi Chira Vajre Maha Bodhi Mandap Brahmana Vajre Savakama Varana Vishadana Vajre Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasattva Pramadana Tathagata Mahate Samyaksam Buddhaya Tayata Om Vajra Vajra Mahajira Vajra Mahavira Vajra Mahabodhi Chira Mahabodhi Mandopesam Kamana Vajra Savakama Varana Vishadana Vajra Soha. By the power of truth of the three rare sublime ones, the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the great wealth of the completed two collections, and the sphere of phenomena being pure and inconceivable, may these piles of clouds of offerings arising through transformation by the Bodhisattvas Arya, Samattabhadra, Manjushri, and so forth, unimaginable and inexhaustible, equaling the sky, arise and in the eyes of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions be received. Compassionate protectors in degenerate times, 7 Sugatas, Buddha Shakyamuni, Holy Dharma, Bodhisattvas and guardians, invited as the support and protector refuge to protect others and myself, may you come here, gather, and grant your blessings. Root Guru, whose kindness is without equal, King of the Shakyas, Manjushri, Chandarakshita, and so on, holding in their hands this profound sutra, to the direct and lineage gurus I prostrate. To the compassionate ones who liberate destitute beings, 7 Sugatas, Buddha Shakyamuni, and Holy Dharma, Manjushri, Kabjol, Vajrapani, Brahma, and Ishvara, and the Maharajas and Yakshas I prostrate. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. Great Bhagawan Assembly, pray listen. 7 Sugatas, just as you promised, your previous prayers will be fulfilled. During the final period of Shakyamuni's teachings, pray show me in actuality it is true. And so now, make the visualization. The Tower of Medicine Buddhas above your own crown. Also, you can think that they're above the crowns of anyone in your life particularly struggling, or hovering above areas of the world in particular strife. Or just think that there is a tower above every single sentient being. Starting with yourself as the representative, directly above your crown, Medicine Buddha, who is blue in color. Then Medicine Buddha, who is red. And then pinkish, and lighter pink or coral. And then 3 who are goldish yellow. And then Shakyamuni Buddha at the top or in front. The main thing is to think they are present here. And we start with the top of the Medicine Buddha stack. And we direct our prayers to him on behalf of all sentient beings. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Please may the pledges you made ripen upon myself and all sentient beings right now. May all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Golden in color with mudra of granting refuge, who accomplished 8 prayers, majestic with the glory of 2 accumulations, glorious one of the Buddha field unconquered by others, to renowned glorious King of excellent signs I prostrate. In flowers of the major marks flourishing and pure, anthers of minor signs such as a beautiful body, one who sees, hears, or thinks of you is glorified. To renowned glorious King of excellent signs I prostrate. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. And so starting with confession, just for a moment, develop that mind of kind self-honesty, of brave transparency to the enlightened beings who know you and accept you and have compassion for you in such a vast way, it's beyond measure. So before their compassionate gaze, you think, there have been faults physically, verbally, mentally, which are hindrances to my path. May I purify them. You can think of a couple specifics. And this practice itself is the power of remedy. So we continue. Through the force of hearing the conqueror's name, expressing it, remembering, prostrating, and offering, for all sentient beings such as ourselves. May all sentient beings such as ourselves be free from epidemics, execution, criminals, and spirits, have faculties fully complete, have the continuum of suffering and negativities cut, not fall to lower realms, and experience the happiness of humans and gods. With hunger, thirst, and poverty pacified, may there be wealth, without torments of body, such as bindings and beatings, without harm of tigers, lions, and snakes, with conflict pacified, endowed with loving minds, and relieved from fear of flood as well, may we pass to fearless bliss. And when we pass away from this life, may we be born from a lotus in that Buddha field, qualities complete, become a vessel for transmitting the teachings of conquerors, such as renowned glorious King of excellent signs, and cause them delight. Streams of nectar flow down from his heart, down through the stack, down to the crown of your head. Nectar light flowing down and through you, purifying, soothing, protecting. And the same is true of all sentient beings. And he dissolves and absorbs down to the Buddha below him. And we direct our attention there. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Please may the pledges you made ripen upon myself and all sentient beings right now. May all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Yellow in color with mudra of granting the Supreme, who accomplished 8 prayers, majestic with the glory of 2 accumulations, glorious one of the Buddha field endowed with jewels, I prostrate to King of melodious sound, well adorned with jeweled moon and lotus, wisdom expanded and mastery of all knowable objects, endowed with a mind as deep as the ocean, I prostrate at the feet of King of melodious sound. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. And so pausing here to meditate on rejoicing, which can maximize our merit, which can prevent and purify jealousy, which can inspire us to continue. So we think first of all individually, what am I doing that is positive and constructive and is of some benefit? Just allow yourself to recognize those ways in which you're a good friend, kind to your family, patient with your coworkers, whatever it is. Recognize it. And then expanding the rejoicing to thinking about the various people in your life and the ways in which they do things that are beneficial, that are empathic or kind, skillful. and the good that sentient beings do in general. Different communities or organizations that you really respect, that give you some hope, rejoicing in those. And then expanding the rejoicing to include your spiritual teachers, in particular, your root gurus, the way in which these beings who seem to have realizations work for the welfare of sentient beings all day, every day, with little or no self-centeredness, with deep, skillful means. They show us our potential. And continuing, through the force of hearing the conqueror's name, expressing it, remembering, prostrating, and offering, for all sentient beings such as ourselves, may the distracted flourish in the Dharma, have wealth and goods of humans and gods, without torment at conception, be always born human, never be separated from bodhicitta, increase in virtuous Dharma, purify obscurations, and attain the happiness of humans and gods. May we be freed from being separated from the spiritual guide, from dark ages, spirit harm, death, and enemies, and from the dangers of isolated places. May we have enthusiasm for making offerings and performing ritual services. May lesser beings have samadhi, mindfulness, strength, the dharani of non-forgetfulness, and attain supreme wisdom. May tormenting fires be cooled. And when we pass away from this life, may we be born from a lotus in that Buddha field, qualities complete, and become a vessel for transmitting the teachings of conquerors, such as King of Melodious Sound, and cause them delight. Streams of nectar light flow down from his heart, down through the stack, down through your crown, purifying and blessing. And he dissolves and absorbs down into the Buddha below him. And we direct our attention there. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel who accomplishes all vows, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel who accomplishes all vows, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel who accomplishes all vows, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel who accomplishes all vows, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel who accomplishes all vows, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel who accomplishes all vows, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel who accomplishes all vows, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Please may the pledges you made ripen upon myself and all sentient beings right now. May all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Golden in color like the river Zambu, with Dharma teaching mudra, having accomplished 4 prayers, majestic with the glory of 2 accumulations, glorious one of the Buddha filled and sense-filled, I prostrate to stainless excellent gold. Paramount among golds like the gold of the river Zambu, blazing with more radiance than 1,000 suns, body like a stainless golden stupa, I prostrate to stainless excellent gold. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. So pausing here to meditate on requesting and beseeching. These 2 limbs help create the cause to meet the Guru Buddha, and for the Guru Buddha to remain, and for the Guru Buddha to continuously teach. So they'll only teach if we ask. So let's ask. They'll only stay if we want them to stay. So recognizing that, make a heartfelt request from your heart to the Guru Buddha. And continuing, through the force of hearing the conqueror's name, expressing it, remembering, prostrating, and offering, for all sentient beings such as ourselves, may the short-lived gain longevity, the poor full wealth. May combatants come to have loving minds. May we not be without training and fall to the lower realms, but be bound by our vows and never without bodhicitta. And when we pass away from this life, may we be born from a lotus in that Buddha field, qualities complete, and become a vessel for transmitting the teachings of conquerors such as stainless excellent gold, and cause them delight. And streams of nectar flow down from his heart down through the stack to your crown, down and through you, purifying and blessing yourself on behalf of all sentient beings. And he dissolves and absorbs down into the Buddha below him. And we direct our attention there. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, Buddha's supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Please may the pledges you made ripen upon myself and all sentient beings right now. May all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Light red in color with mudra of meditative equipoise, who accomplished 4 prayers, majestic with the glory of 2 accumulations, glorious one of the Buddha field without sorrow, I prostrate to supreme glory free from sorrow. Passed beyond sorrow, attained to supreme bliss, pacifier of sentient beings, 3 poisons and suffering, protector of beings of the 6 realms, to the glorified one, supreme glory free from sorrow, I prostrate. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. Through the force of hearing the Conqueror's name, expressing it, remembering, prostrating, and offering, for all sentient beings such as ourselves, may sorrow and alike always be pacified, and life be long and happy. May the Conqueror's light increase bliss and joy in the hells. May we have brightness, beauty, and wealth unharmed by spirits. May we have love for each other, and may there be no disease. And when we pass away from this life, may we be born from a lotus in that Buddha field, qualities complete, become a vessel for transmitting the teachings of conquerors such as supreme glory free from sorrow, and cause them delight. Nectar light flowing down from his heart, down through the stack, to your crown, down and through you. Soothing and healing and purifying. Blessing, inspiring, enriching. Yourself on behalf of all. And he dissolves and absorbs down into the Buddha below him. We direct our attention there. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Please may the pledges you made ripen upon myself and all sentient beings right now. May all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Pink in color with mudra of teaching the Dharma, who accomplished 4 prayers, majestic with the glory of 2 accumulations, glorious one of the Buddha field, victory banner of Dharma, I prostrate to melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma. Great sound of Dharma conquering adversaries, endowed with speech as deep as the ocean, pacifier of beings suffering without exception, I prostrate to melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. Through the force of hearing the Conqueror's name, expressing it, remembering, prostrating, and offering, for all sentient beings such as ourselves, may we always have perfect view and faith. Hear the sound of Dharma and be enriched with bodhicitta. For the sake of resources, may we give up negativities, may wealth increase. May we abide in love, have long lives, and be content. And when we pass away from this life, may we be born from a lotus in that Buddha field, qualities complete, become a vessel for transmitting the teachings of conquerors such as melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, and cause them delight. Streams of nectar light flowing down from his heart, down through the stack to your crown, down and through you. Purifying blessing. And he dissolves and absorbs down into the Buddha below him. And we direct our attention there. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Please may the pledges you made ripen upon myself and all sentient beings right now. May all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Coral colored with mudra of granting the Supreme, who accomplished 4 prayers, majestic with the glory of 2 accumulations, glorious one of the Buddha field, ocean of jewels, I prostrate to King of clear knowing. Mind of profound Dharma wisdom, difficult to fathom, sporting in the pure sphere of truth, one who sees all knowable objects directly, I prostrate to King of clear knowing. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. Through the force of hearing the Conqueror's name, expressing it, remembering, prostrating, and offering, for all sentient beings such as ourselves, may the distracted be free of malice and rich in goods. May those on evil paths to lower realms attain the 10 virtues. May those controlled by others gain perfect independence, and all have long life, hear the names, and be virtuous. And when we pass away from this life, may we be born from a lotus in that Buddha field, qualities complete, become a vessel for transmitting the teachings of conquerors such as King of clear knowing, and cause them delight. Streams of nectar light flowing down, all the way through your crown, all the way through you. clearing obstacles, ripening positive seeds. And he dissolves and absorbs down into the Buddha below him, and we turn our attention there. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, Medicine Guru, King of Lapis Light, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, Medicine Guru, King of Lapis Light, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, Medicine Guru, King of Lapis Light, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, Medicine Guru, King of Lapis Light, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, Medicine Guru, King of Lapis Light, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, Medicine Guru, King of Lapis Light, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, Medicine Guru, King of Lapis Light, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Please may the pledges you made ripen upon myself and all sentient beings right now. May all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Blue in color, with mudra of granting the supreme, who accomplished 12 prayers, majestic with the glory of 2 accumulations, glorious one of the Buddha field, lapis light, I prostrate to Medicine Guru, King of Doctors. Bhagawan with equal compassion for all, whose name, when merely heard, dispels the suffering of lower realms, dispeller of disease and the 3 poisons, I prostrate to Medicine Buddha, lapis light. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. Through the force of hearing the Conqueror's name, expressing it, remembering, prostrating, and offering, may each and every sentient being, such as ourselves, all become like you, graced with marks and signs. May the light dispelling darkness, the enjoyment of wisdom, and skillful means be inexhaustible. May those attracted to mistaken and lesser paths enter Mahayana paths, and all be beautified by their vows. May we be free from pain caused by immorality, be complete in faculties and without disease, and have abundant goods. May those disillusioned with the weakest conditions always have powerful faculties. And may we be freed from Mara's noose and perverse viewpoints. May those tormented by kings gain bliss, and those who out of hunger support themselves through negativity be satisfied with food received in accordance with the Dharma. May hardships of heat and cold be pacified, and all good wishes be fulfilled. Endowed with morality that pleases the Aryas, may we be liberated. And when we pass away from this life, may we be born from a lotus in that Buddha field, qualities complete, become a vessel for transmitting the teachings of conquerors such as Medicine Guru, King of Doctors, and cause them delight. And streams of nectar light flow down from his heart, down through the crown of your head, healing and protecting, purifying and blessing. And he dissolves into light and absorbs into you, blessing your body, speech, and mind. When we shift our attention to Shakyamuni Buddha, we can be hovering in the space above or in the space in front, whichever you prefer. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagawan, Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Please may the pledges you made ripen upon myself and all sentient beings right now. May all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Golden in color with earth-pressing mudra, who through the force of unique great compassion and enthusiasm became the glorious one of this, the fearless world system. I prostrate to the supreme leader, head of the Shakyas. Born in a Shakya lineage out of skillful means and compassion, unchallenged by others, conqueror of Mara's forces, body majestic as a golden Mount Meru, I prostrate to the king of the Shakyas. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. Pray bless us and all beings who lack a protector to receive here immediately without exception the benefits as taught by the Supreme Teacher in the extensive sutra ritual of Medicine Buddha. Supreme lamp dispelling the darkness of ignorance, foremost of medicines alleviating suffering and disease. To the entire sublime jewel of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. Homage to the mother of the victorious ones, perfection of wisdom and holy Dharma of the three vehicles, who totally destroys the dark seed of suffering's cause and uproots the pain of suffering completely. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. From Shakyamuni Buddha's heart, golden light floods you, ripening your positive seeds for both happiness and realizations and ability to benefit others. Feel flooded with golden light. Your inner guru and inner connection with Dharma strengthening. And he dissolves into light and absorbs into you, blessing your body, speech, and mind. Through the blessing of the truth of the holy Dharma jewel, may I and all others, henceforth in all our lives, practice the Buddha's teachings in their entirety, exactly as the Buddha's intended. The conqueror's heart commitments were invoked by 36,000 sons of Sugatas, including Manjushri, Kabjol, and Vajapani. Thus requested, they proclaim the sutra's benefits. Pray manifest all of them for me here and now, and to the worldly protector Yaksha leaders as well, as you promised to do before previous teachers, to stop enemies, harmers, and epidemics, to pacify conflict and increase physical and mental bliss, increase wealth, power, property, crops, and lifespan, accomplish these desired goals as we wish, and always protect us without break. And so now take a minute and reestablish simple Medicine Buddha, blue in color, in the space in front, or at your crown if you don't have the empowerment. If you do have the empowerment, from the state of emptiness with awareness of bodhicitta, arise as Medicine Buddha. For those with empowerment, connect with divine pride and clear appearance. For those without the empowerment, focus on strong aspiration and clear appearance. Light goes out from the heart of Medicine Buddha, bringing offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, dispelling the suffering of sentient beings. And light returns to you in the form of blessings. Light going out, light going in. And add the mantra to that visualization. Om Namo Bhagavate Guru Bhadraya Prabharatsaya Tathagataya Ahate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha. Continuing the visualization together with the mantra. Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha. Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Raja Samugate Soha. Guru, whose kindness is without equal, King of the Shakyas, Manjushri, Chandarakshita, and so on, holding in their hands this profound sutra, to the direct and lineage gurus I prostrate, to the compassionate ones who liberate destitute beings, to the seven Sugatas, Buddha Shakyamuni, and Holy Dharma, to Manjushri, Kabdrol, Vajrapani, Brahma, and Ishvara, and the Maharajas and Yakshas I prostrate. I make every collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through the force of mantra, samadhi, and aspiration. I confess all downfalls and negativities, rejoice in virtues, request and beseech, and dedicate such virtues as these to the great enlightenment. Whatever I have done or caused to be done that was unprepared or degenerated, or done with my deluded mind, please be patient with all of these. Whatever the beings of this degenerate age have done, of lesser merit mixed with ignorant delusions, that did not fulfill the Arya's wishes, please be patient with these as well. Under the influence of miserliness, lacking in skill, having made bad offerings or faulty arrangements, O protector endowed with great compassion, please be patient with these as well. Whatever was superfluous or left undone, degeneration in parts of the ritual, or whatever was forgotten, please be patient with these as well. By remaining here together with this image, for the sake of all migrators, may you grant us long life without illness, power, and supreme attainment. Om Sutra Tisha Vajraye Soha. The hosts of Medicine Buddha deities, pervading all directions of the round of space with perfection, some raining down multicolor lotuses, some singing songs requesting goodness, some acting to conquer maras and obstructors, and all bestowing on you supreme good fortune. Know this full well and be very joyful, and I shall voice sweet melody expressing auspiciousness. Supreme teacher of humans and gods, touching my crown to your feet of jeweled moonlight, grants the glory of good fortune of Kamunda flowers blossoming. To Munindra, moon of expounders, I prostrate. Manjushri and great abbot Chandarakshita, Trisong Detsen, Atisha father and sons, second conqueror Lozandrapa, and so on, through the auspiciousness of all collected good qualities of the supreme root and lineage gurus, may all negativity and degeneration be ended, and bliss and goodness increasing like the waxing moon. May it be auspicious to enjoy the glory of perfection, accomplishing a supreme ocean of prayers invoking truth during the teachings decline for protectorless beings who are untamed by other sunlight conquerors, through the auspiciousness of all collected good qualities of those 7 Sugatas, protectors during degenerate times. May all negativity and degeneration be ended, and bliss and goodness increasing like the waxing moon. May it be auspicious to enjoy the glory of perfection. Arising well from the broad lotus-like tongue of the Lord of the Able Ones, especially exalted even in the later days of the Shakya's teachings, such that if performed one gains the essence of immortality's ambrosia, through the auspiciousness of all collected good qualities of that king of the vast and profound Sutra Pitaka, may all negativity and degeneration be ended, and bliss and goodness increasing like the waxing moon. May it be auspicious to enjoy the glory of perfection. Through the auspiciousness of all collected good qualities of those children of the lineage performing the sutra ritual, by simply reciting the names of the kings of doctors of all realms 10 directions, and through the especially extensive prayers of the teacher Buddha and the Sugatas, may all negativity and degeneration be ended, and bliss and goodness increasing like the waxing moon. May it be auspicious to enjoy the glory of perfection. Accomplished through the compassion mantra of the Sugatas, through faith, samadhi, and words of truth, construction of jewels, abode of the 3 jewels beyond the 3 realms, through the auspiciousness of all collected good qualities of that supreme Buddha field equal to Sukhavati, may all negativity and degeneration be ended, and bliss and goodness increasing like the waxing moon. May it be auspicious to enjoy the glory of perfection. Due to the merits accumulated of the 3 times by myself and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, which are empty from their own side, may the I, who is empty from its own side, achieve the state of enlightenment, which is empty from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are empty from their own side to that state as quickly as possible by myself alone. Because of all the merits of the 3 times created by me and all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and other sentient beings, may there be no wars, famines, disease, quarreling, fighting, or unhappy minds. May there be great prosperity, and may everything needed be easily obtained. May all the human beings in the world be guided by spiritual leaders teaching only Dharma. May everyone enjoy the happiness of Dharma. Gari rawe koe jinkam dir pendong dewa malu zhengwei ne Chenrezig Yönten Tsering shape site badu tengyue chi Tuop su chan ching chang gong gao wei Tenzing kyun pao wei guan zu du po zei Chua sam kua wei lei mon tua zhou Ba da so du jie gong du shab ten shou. Thinking all of the aspirations we made at the beginning of the session also swiftly be fulfilled. Okay. So you notice you can emphasize different things, different sessions that you do, and that also when you do the 7-limb prayer, you can say it all as a chunk and then focus in on one part, or else pause at a certain part and meditate there. If you're in a group practice, you just go with the flow of whatever the umse of the place is doing, and happy practicing. Thanks very much, everyone.